Alright, folks, welcome back to Pillars of Eternity. As always, I'm Falcon, your host. And this time we are picking up in Brackenbury, which is... look at the map here. Last time we were in First Fires. Now we've come down to Brackenbury. Now we are here because we have a considerable number of quests actually to do down here. Not that one. No, actually, yeah, this one. This is for the dude who was kicked out of the Crucible Knights, who works in the Adventure Hall, or whatever it's called. Expedition Hall, there we go. He wants to get his armor back. And the one dude in the Crucible Knights who has had him kicked out, is actually, has falsified some of the information that you need to become a Crucible Knight. And we are about to go attempt to verify his affidavit. Forgot how to say that. See whether it's genuine or not, which we're pretty sure it's not. And that is done in here in Brackenbury. There's also this. This is one of the unintentionally thwarted the would-be thieves, of which we did quite some time ago back in Copper Lane. That we're attempting to rob one of the Brackenbury noblemen. So we have that quest. We have to go into this sanitarium here to find out information for the undead wizard, who's down in the place. And then I think that's it. Yeah, that's it for the time being, though we do also need to, just in general, get our reputation up, which we just basically have to do other quests, essentially. Depending on how much time we end up having, I will make an attempt to do Built to Last here as well. We'll go to the Scrivener's Dormitory back in Copper Lane, but that is less important at this time. We'll only get there if we have time to do that. So first, here we are. And we're going to look at the map real quick. This is the sanitarium.
Get along?
Right here.
We got along how brothers do. He used to throw water on me to wake me up in the morning. I used to fill his boots with stinging ants.
My own brothers and sisters are doing very well for themselves, back in Takoa. I don't know that they'd search for me if I were killed so far from home.
Brothers can be funny. I bet you'd be surprised how far they'd go.
Anyway, so we're right outside the sanitarium here, which we need to go into and do. The Hadrit House for the one quest is down here, the verification of the affidavit quest. And then I think it's this one is the place that was going to be robbed. There's also the Charred Barrel and the House Dominel, something like that. We're going to do the sanitarium first, though, because we happen to be right outside of it. We will see there's a bunch of animancers lurking about. The sanitarium itself, of course. Yeah, thanks, I noticed. And you. Okay, so a woman stands in the shade of the garden, muttering to herself. She's fixated on the pages of a large and well-worn tome, seemingly oblivious to the blooming flowers and the cool, fragrant breeze. She only looks up when your shadow crosses her page. Do you mind? I'm rather busy. What are you so busy with? She snaps her book shut. I'm studying soul attachment. We all know that souls move into people at birth and out of them at death, but we still have a lot of questions about what makes them stick, so to speak. What do you mean making them stick? She brushes a lock from her hair from her forehead. Stray souls power bodies and give their tissues life, but only when they're firmly attached. It's separation that leads to a whole spate of soul-related ailments, including the Hollowborn. But if we understood how to reattach souls, we could end Waidwin's legacy, maybe even conquer death. Scratches behind your ear. That's the theory, anyway. Unfortunately, I don't have all the research I need to put it into practice. That's the problem with animancers. You meddle in things you don't understand. So what exactly do you need? There's a manuscript called The Theorems of Pangram. It contains research from Pangram's experiments on detached souls. The Hall of Revealed Mysteries is rumored to have a copy in the Eldar archives. Oh, we have this, actually. Pangram's work is considered to be one of the more, daring animancy texts, not something generally circulated among novices, nor easy to get a hold of. I wonder if we might have a peek at it. The theorems could advance my research by leaps and bounds, but Grimda, the High Archivist, worships whale, which means she has more paradoxical views on sharing and restricting knowledge, or has some. And since she's not exactly a proponent of animancy, she tends to restrict that kind of information that would be useful to me. It's a shame. Look at me spilling my troubles. It's kind of you to listen, but I should really get back to my work. I have some questions about it. Tell me about it. Pangram was an animancer working in the Deerwood. He had some interesting theories about essence and some rather innovative techniques for studying it. He was able to reattach souls to bodies after death, although he wasn't able to prevent his patients from degenerating. He was controversial, to say the least, but many are starting to realize he was merely ahead of his time. What do you mean by degenerating? Well, there seems to be a tiny problem with the reattaching souls after death. The bodies will reanimate and may even retain memories and personality, but they develop a hunger for flesh. Living, soul-infused flesh. Oh, zombies. Good times. Without it, they start to devolve, decaying mentally and physically. If the process goes too far, which it eventually does, they become mindless corpses, attacking anything that moves. We haven't figured out a way to avoid that. That is more than an inconvenient side effect. You've reproduced an unnatural curse with little to show for it. Sounds dangerous. Of course it is, but every great discovery carries years of trial and error. This is why we need the research of people like Pangram to help us turn these failures into something useful. We kind of know this already, so I'm not even going to bother to ask all those things. I'll leave you alone for the moment. We have that book on us. I want to look. Is it in my inventory? I think it's down here. There is a pangram. Screw diagrams and notes on animancy. Okay, so we can't actually do anything with the book, apparently. It's unfortunate. I'm gonna go ahead and give her the book, though. You'll never believe what I found. You! Lady of Lament, you really found it! She cradles the musty tome like a newborn. I can't believe it, it really exists! Looks back to you. Thanks so much. This will be invaluable. She almost turns to the book, but at the last moment she remembers herself and gives you a bag of coins. I'm glad this will be useful to you. I don't suppose you could spare a little bit more. I was glad to help. Tell me about yourself. I'm an animancer at the sanitarium. Currently I'm researching matters related to Waidwin's legacy. It refers to the rise in Hollowborn children in the Deerwood in recent years. Some have also connected so-called Beowucks, the Blother, Ear, and Glonfoth. That's hardly any reliable data on those, though, so I can't really comment. I don't much care for the term Waidwin's legacy. It reeks of superstition, but it's too prevalent to change at this point. Personally, I like to see people take a more methodical approach to these matters rather than throwing up their hands and blaming the gods. Don't think Darewins would see too much fun in that. Leave me alone. Alright, so we completed that quest. That was an easy quest because we already had the stuff we needed for it. Alright, so we have some business here in the sanitarium, so let's check it out. Retrieve Helig's research from Modrig's laboratory. Hail, good sir! And make trouble for the animancers. Well, I have no intention of making trouble. Berna, you are not somebody I want to speak to because you are... Hail, Bernard. Okay, it's just a random book. Another random book. High Warden something or other. Send a formal invitation, see to it that the necessary preparations are made. Of course. Animancer from the Republics. Why are you talking to a statue? A well-maintained statue of a middle-aged man presides over the room, looking down and blinking over the bustle of harried academics pestered by the hopeful desperate. A strong warmth emanates from it that you could sense from across the room. There's a human soul stored beneath the stonework. You feel its attention turned toward you. It's been some time since a watcher graced these halls. His voice echoes deeply, rumbling the floor beneath you. I am envious of your natural insights, traveler. Can only imagine how it might have helped my work in life. Now, what is it that has brought you to my sanitarium? Well, first off, I'm looking for an animancer named Modred. Modred, of course. You'll find him downstairs in the first room on the right. I'm curious as how you come to be in your present state. In the statue, you mean? Well, I was old. It seemed wrong to me, a lifetime spent in pursuit of discovery, only to lose it all in death. Somewhere, someday, I would wake up in a new body none the wiser, and pursue a different course entirely. All that experience wasted. If we ever do unearth the principles behind our existence, it will be in spite of our condition. Of that I am quite sure. To live on as part of something I helped build seemed to me a better legacy than what nature had in store. The transfer itself was quite simple as our techniques go, and for that I am grateful. Playing with souls is far easier to accept when they are not your own. I do miss being able to take on active role in the scholarly efforts now. Here and again one of our animancers will humor me and consult over some problem, but they are a jealous breed and are too often afraid to collaborate. If you're considering it yourself, I can tell you that it isn't for the easily bored. Tell me about the sanitarium. A history lesson. This is a rare pleasure. Most come in here only concerned about cheating death in one way or another. We are an old institution as Deerwood goes. This is our 94th year. As with many cities, the growth of Defiance Bay brought with it a host of problems. One of the worst was that those born with, shall we say, ill-favored souls came to populate its streets in droves, thus the sanitarium. Brackenbury was a natural fit. It was growing, but there was also a lot of money here back then. This place owes its survival to the curiosities of the wealthy more than anything, I think. Our founding came at a time of great suspicion in animancy, much like today. So much progress has been lost to the mishaps of a few careless practitioners. But at the time, it was forgotten, as all things are. Since then, we have been at the forefront of animancy's resurgence. We have played host to many gifted researchers and pushed the boundaries of our knowledge in ways never thought possible. Most of the first safe transferences were done here, and we have pioneered work in soul purification, lineage analysis, preservation. It's really quite a list, if you'll pardon my pride. Today it's, well, I can say it's exactly the same. I can't say it's exactly the same. There's been some push to shut us down. It comes from Deerwood's more excitable denizens, whose minds are more passionate than thoughtful, I'm afraid. People see this legacy, and they see it involves something that they don't understand, so it's natural for them to suspect people whose understanding exceeds theirs. It looks to them like we're hiding something. We have a representative in the palace this very moment, defending the entire science of animancy at a hearing before the Duke. Absurd as it sounds, if it does not go well, it may be the end of animancy in Deerwood. I fear Avar may be swayed by all this unrest, irrational though it may be. We shall see. Okay, so we have to go downstairs. But first, I do want to look around. This man's soul was torn asunder by a biwak. We had a problem like that. As you can see, the patient is unresponsive, common after soul trauma. Oh, this is about Waidwin. Places a small stone upon the patient's forehead. A portion of his soul was recovered near his body. We used this stone as a vessel for transfer. Can you hear me, Oswin? Patient's eyes slowly open before a panicked, wild expression washes over them. Unfortunately, the extended disassociation has permanent side effects. Patient becomes more agitated, grunting and moaning as he tugs at his bonds. With further research, we're confident that we'll be able to rehabilitate patients like Oswin. Oh, so they can't just fix that kind of damage. Interesting. It also would appear, if his soul is still in the stone, as it sounds like, that they can't return the stone to its body, or the soul to its body, at least not easily. Which is interesting. Psalm de Wotica. Midwife's memoirs. I'm just looking around to see if there's anything interesting to us. Animancy in the modern age. Nothing terribly interesting. Painting of a rolling forest glen has a strangely soothing effect. I find it odd that only the one painting is viewable, but the others are not. And it's going to do more than just chant. Competent warriors will continue to chant and accumulate phrases while performing other actions. Yes, we kind of know that. Oh, why did we get positioned way the hell up there?
Yes.
Kind of strange. Alright, so what we got in here? Belasiege.
Good day to you.
A woman paces back and forth, her feet crunching on the soft red carpet. She gestures and mumbles to herself, shaking her head as she pores over pages of notes. She almost walks into you. Akosi! Here I am, thinking so hard for answers in my research that I do not see the kith stand in front of me. What can I do? What do you do here? According to my research grant, I study awakenings. Sublimating pre-awakened souls has been one of Animancy's greatest successes, and I'm working on a method to replicate the process on awakened souls. She nods at her lip. But the truth is that I find few suitable subjects here. Waidwin's legacy has left plenty of awakened souls, but most are too broken for study. I feel I will return to Rivra with nothing to show for my efforts. I'm awakened. I've been recalling flashes of a past life. Most interesting, but not the kind of awakening I can study, I'm afraid. I need someone whose awakened soul can be triggered with predictable stimuli. Souls such as these tend to manifest as alternate personas in the host. But I thank you for the offer. Something else you need? So this is like the one dude that we ran into. The other Watcher. You're looking for one of them, basically. Know more about Animancy. It's a dynamic and respected field. Even the Balrich incident did little to slow it. People in the Republics are more accepting of risk, less superstitious, ready to try anything that shows promise. Has potential to do great harm. Not sure whether the benefits. It's a shame that so many here are so hostile toward Animancy. It is, but such is the way of the Deerwood. The people here are fierce about their sovereignty, but they are not so independent from their Adiran brothers and their Glenfathan neighbors as they would like to think. They rely too much on the mysterious workings of the gods and fear the very advances they need. Oftentimes true, but sometimes not so much. Alright, what have we got in here? Anybody? Looks like a whole lot of nothing. Edges of the cage are dented and scored with claw marks. Claw marks? I wouldn't mind being better armed. It makes the clients a little nervous. Unlocking this requires the proper key. And that also requires the proper key. Alright, well. Unless in here happens to provide the key, we are boned. Modred, an Animancer scribbles feverishly on a parchment scroll while his free hand dances through the air, counting off unseen objects. His lips move in silent discourse. As your shadow falls over his scroll, he looks up at you with mingled perplexity and irritation.
Gods keep you.
Can I help you? He forces a polite smile. Does the name Helig mean anything to you? Helig? Is, a colleague of mine. He was primarily a necromancer, but he was involved in animancy too. He worked at the sanitarium for several years. I dare say everyone here has heard of him. He clears his throat. He left his post recently. I believe he was seeking new opportunities in the Valian Republics. The advances they're making in animancy really are quite remarkable. Surely you heard. Perhaps you haven't. And you know a woman named Rowena? No, I don't get out of the sanitarium much. But Helig. As I said, he no longer works here. I've heard it differently. He slides his spectacles down his throat. Just what are you insinuating? If this is your idea of a joke, I assure you, it's in very poor taste. So you didn't sink a blade into his chest and dump him in the catacombs? I'd be relieved to hear it. I would have tried the might one, because it just sounds amusing. Crack your knuckles. I insinuate nothing. Subtlety isn't my style. You wouldn't. I would, and I'd enjoy it. I usually do. I suppose not, but I heard a different story from Helig, and I tend to get the truth. We try subtlety sometimes. Sometimes we don't, though. It just kind of depends. I suppose not, but I heard a different story. I've had enough of these baseless... Wait, you spoke to Helig? He's talkative for a dead man. He lives, in a manner of speaking. But that's... If anyone figured out how to do that, it would be him, wouldn't it? He sighs and runs his hand over his hair. Very well. Yes, I killed him. I killed that beast because nobody else had the spine for it. He was a madman. Years of perverse experiments. Twisting healthy souls, torturing damaged souls. And for what? He flayed the essence from Glenfathan indigents for his amusement. He waved down the hall. If the public had known half of his deeds, they'd have razed this place to the ground. He used the sanitarium to disguise his own sick proclivities. He brought shame on all of us and put the entire discipline at risk. I regret nothing. Anyway, now you know the whole Grizzly story. Hardly brave, stabbing the man to sleep. I said you stole a grimoire for him. His grimoire? What's that madman been telling you? I'm not in the mood for games, Modric handed over. I'm not a wizard, and I want nothing to do with his detestable research. What else would I have for it? If I knew Helig, this is his idea of a joke. Probably not one you or I would appreciate. If anything I've told you about him is sunk in, I beg you, return to the catacombs and slay him once and for all. That foul man will cause misery and pain as long as he's around. I'll consider it. I don't know if I want to give him the key, because I kind of need the key. Examine the trunk closely. The lack of dust on the trunk's surface and lawn scratches in the tile flooring suggest that the trunk is frequently used and moved throughout the laboratory despite its considerable size. Deep yet narrow gouges scour the wood at the edges of the trunk. They look like claw marks. Let me save real quick, because I have a feeling this is like a bad thing. First things first. What are you working on? My area of focus is wicks. More specifically, how to cure them. Well, what the hell's a wick? A hollowborn who received a transplanted animal soul during infancy. One of Animancy's early efforts to cure the legacy, if not a successful one. They show signs of developmental abnormalities throughout their childhood, but when they reach adolescence, they become aggressive, feral, but still victims in need of care. Transplanting animal souls seems like an odd solution. We Animancers are trying to do something about the crisis, better than letting it swallow a generation of children. And despite the controversy, it only went so far because at first it seemed to work. People called it the salvation. Children that had never been responsive to any kind of stimuli suddenly seemed aware of their surroundings, of their families. The complications don't begin until puberty, but that's when their incompatibilities between body and soul take shape. Children become violent, ravenous. But we pay dearly for our mistake, I promise you. Angry mobs hunted down Animancers and burned down their homes, with them still inside, often as not. People took to calling it the cruel salvation, and many still loathe us for it. But we wanted to stop the legacy as much as anyone. The public begged for our help, and we did the best we could. I still don't know if that absolves us. Why do you study them? What kind of question is that? Just think of all the families that could be healed, the lives that could be restored. What could be more important? Animancy has an answer here, I know it. It's simply a matter of working it out. I see. About Helig. So, you killed him to save your own reputation, or the reputation of the whole discipline, rather. You realize there are groups in the city looking for an excuse to have us all hanged. They won't see the knowledge we worked so hard for lost because of one man's madness. He used the sanitarium to disguise his own sick proclivities. He brought shame on all of us and brought the entire discipline put the entire discipline at risk. I regret nothing. He wants revenge, but now you understand why I killed him. Why someone had to. I only hope I can convince you to return and slay him once and for all. Oh, it has something I need. I don't know what he's promised you, but he's already lied to you about the grimoire. I don't have it. If what I've told you about that evil, deceitful man hasn't swayed you, I don't know what else to say. Trust him at your own peril. Okay, apparently I can't. Fits perfectly and turns with a solid clunk. Monk holds no grimoires or treasures. Instead, you find yourself staring at the feral gaze and toothy maw of a twisted, monstrous creature. Its humanoid form has been overwhelmed by bony angles and terrible claws. With a start, you recognize the vague shape of a young girl beneath the elongated, malformed bones and grayish skin. It growls and leaps from the trunk, not toward you, but toward Modred. Modred has no time to scream before his throat is torn out. Oh! Well now. He wanted us to unleash the thing so that it would kill Modred. Interesting. Well, you didn't last long. he definitely didn't last long. House Domino. That isn't. Whispered fearfully in the back room of the dim light of a dying fire, and fear that the Ronstead ears would hear it. I actually kind of want to know about them because they're one of the places in this area. Kind of briefly looking through here, they've once again built a name for themselves, proving that they're still capable and savvy businessmen. So they're basically the mob, is pretty much what it sounds like. Bunch of money. Take the money. Alright, I don't know that I want to kill this dude, actually. Let's reload the sanitarium save here. Because I want to see what giving him the key does.
Indeed.
Okay.
Good day to you.
Did Helic mean anything to you? I've heard it differently. Insinuate nothing. I usually do. There's no need for that. Confess, I killed him, blah blah blah. Said you stole a grimoire. Give him the key. He said you kept it in that trunk over there. Takes the key with a trembling hand. His eyes dart into the trunk behind you. You've been misled. There's no grimoire here, and Helig never intended you to find one. That wretched thing has an insatiable hunger for blood. Thank you for denying him. I hope I can convince you now to return and slay him once and for all. I'll consider it. Okay, so we know... Okay. So we know what happens, and I don't really want to kill this guy. So, I'm not... Oh. Oops. Shit. Damn it! I don't want to lose reputation. I didn't think about the fact that they would get mad at me for staking that. I've been playing too much Wasteland, where nobody really gives a crap if you steal shit from right out from under their face. Alright, so I'm gonna give him the key.
Hail and well met.
Can Helig mean anything to you? I heard it differently. You didn't sink a blade into it. How could... Oh, very well. Yes, I killed him. Said all this before. You did that. Said you stole a grimoire from him. Said you kept it in the trunk over there. Here's something I need. Okay. Modred confessed to killing him, but also explained that Helig was a vile and dangerous man, nor could return to the catacombs and finish what Modred started. You need to continue helping him.
Hello.
While they brave, stabbing man in his back, brave enough for my taste. I heard a rumor he once laid a 50-man squad to rest on his own. At least I did something. Okay. Just looking around, and be quick about it. Don't touch anything. Sanitarium is a lax visitor policy, but I don't. Okay, so... Oh. We need to find... Thrum with power. Going to just kind of briefly skim through this in case information she gives me means anything at some point. Apologize if you can hear my roommates, they're being quite loud. Okay. As far as a key, which we can't get.
Hail, traveler.
Okay, I don't see any way that I can acquire the key to that door right now. So, gonna have to return to what's-his-face, Helig, and see what he says now. Because we didn't open the chest. We didn't do what he wanted us to do. Which I have a feeling is going to turn him against us.
Amazing sights on your way north.
Sure. Pirate cities floating in the archipelago. The mountain halls of these northern dwarves. Plenty.
I haven't been further south in the Deerwood myself. Maybe I'll come back after I've convinced the Ranganui and see all those things for myself.
I hope you do.
Yeah, okay. Whatever you say there, buddies. Okay, so this is... Memory agent. Okay, we can go up. Ooh, heard thunder. This must be a lightning storming outside. Money. A book, which Western Stag. Okay, nothing interesting.
Let's see what lies this way.
No, go away. Douchebag. That was his beer. Thought maybe there was something useful in there, but apparently not. Also, this place looks like it's arranged exactly the same as an area we've been to already. Okay, I'm gonna quick save because I'm wondering if
I can get it to spill its secrets.
money. All right, I'll take it.
Spill its secrets.
Ooh. Ooh. I don't want to... That's a lot of lockpicks. I don't want to expend 6 lockpicks for a chest that's probably not terribly important. Ooh, a blunderbuss. That might be one of the first...
See what I can find.
It's not the first, but I think it's one of the first guns we've found. Alright, Curran. The Orlan man is surrounded by books and scrolls. His wire hair stands nearly on end, and his ears prick up as you approach. You carry whispers, Cod Nua, Gilded Veil, old voices indeed. You're a cipher like me, I'm guessing. You guess what you must surely know. My own modest abilities suggest that yours are more formidable, or most formidable. Would be quite useful here, of all places. A pity, then, that my duties for Lady Webb require me to focus my talents elsewhere. But what brings you to Dunrid Row? Show him the affidavit. Is this real? It's signed by you. He holds the page but seems to stare through the words as if it was something woven in the fabrics of the paper. I remember Penhelm. A preening peacock of a man, his mouth dry and hands moist when I told him he was a sole descendant of an Adiran general, one who'd fought against Hadrit's rebellion. A forgery, and not the first I've seen. He hands it back to you, but I've no time for the knights and their obsessions. Bring this to his commander, Cliver, and show him the seal. He points to the wax stamped by his forged signature. If he compares it with another, he should be able to spot the difference. Doom a man for the soul that gods gave him seems rather unfair. What are you so busy with? Hollowborn, growing unrest, and the ever-present political intrigues, with so many missing souls, missing persons are the least of our concerns these days. Your skills. I check for soul connections, looking for lost things, missing things, or troublesome things, particularly where people of power and influence are concerned. I'm a cipher, and here at Glenfoth we were once known as Brishelgwig, something or other, Mindhunters. Nice title, yes, but it wasn't until the Animancers began working with my kind 40 years ago that we truly understood our power. Now we make some of the best detectives in the world. Tracing souls, we can look at a person and see where they have been, or look at a weapon and see who has touched it. Useful for solving crimes, as you can imagine, so you could use some help. Not at liberty to discuss my work, unfortunately. Dunrid Row ears only. A civilian would need the confidence of Lady Webb before I could share. And we have to find out who Lady Webb even is. She's probably upstairs. Contributions more than 77,000 fans. Yes, quite impressive. Another agent. Another chest. Scroll. And money. Neither of which I'm that concerned with at this time. Well, go back. Elementary Glenfathen. A and A is the difference between paw and pat. Oh, this is kind of cool. I kind of want that book, because I can actually learn the language. Not that I'm going to actually spend the time to learn the language, but still, cool. Cool that they put that in. Cool that that is an option if for anyone who was willing to spend the effort and time to learn it. And you might actually get some actual gameplay advantages out of learning it. Because you can learn things that you wouldn't otherwise know. Okay, I kind of want what's in this chest. It's a fair bit of money, and paradox are always useful, so... Going to pillage that. We look. Oh yeah, that was what the book was. Maybe wants to see you. She'll send for you. Damn it! I want to talk to this person. All right, we probably need to gain more prestige in the in the city before we can do anything with that. Unfortunately. We are almost at the end of this episode, and oh, hi there. Hi, Penhelm. How's it going? Take it, just talked to that little cipher, did you? One of my novitiates told me he'd seen someone in the records room. Give me the affidavit. I've done nothing to you. The superiors deserve to know the truth. Cheer up! You always thought you were someone special. Soon everyone will know who you are. Don't worry, I'm sure the knights will let you stay to scrub the latrines. What does this mean to you? Are you serious? This is my career. I've labored years for it, and all hangs on some coincidence of a past life. Any Deerwooden, rich or poor, could aspire to a position in the Crucible Knights. Anyone can rise to the ranks of high justice. Except for those of us born with the wrong soul. Tell me how that's reasonable. It's actually kind of true, and I do kind of agree with you, but at the same time... cheer up, you always thought you were someone special. I won't let you ruin me over this. Oh! Alright guys, this is probably going to be a mildly difficult fight, so... we need to... It's also our first fight that I've played in a while, because it's been a while since I played this game. So I need to be possibly a little careful. Let's see, what has he got? Bunch of dudes. They're trying to not do knockdown on me, or on whoever it is that they're targeting, which is a problem. Puppy dog doing something useful? Out there, we need you to kick some butt. We need to mark prey. Let's mark that dude. Actually, let's send the dog after that dude, too. Oh, you knocked me down. Damn it. That sucks. Okay, where are you even at? There we go. Let's pull out some firepower. Bonus to defense. Enemy comes in contact with it. You can crush and knock down damage on enemies in the area. Trying to decide what's a good weapons for this. What's good options? Because if I use... accuracy and damage of allies, we'll take that. If I use spells, like actual spells, there's a good chance a lot of these will hurt everything in an area. Which is not really ideal. Building touch is actually not bad. Where is he even at? Right there. Okay. Okay, that triggers all that. That hammers some people with that. Making the air around them and burning them over time. Cipher an ally. Yeah, that's the one we want. Only I can't move, though, because we're pinned. We're pinned between enemies. That's actually probably not a good option. Normally it would be, but right now it probably isn't because of the... just our positioning here is not ideal for that kind of thing. Not ideal for that kind of thing right now. Okay, we need some more health. Getting our butts kicked. We need... Stuns and shoves enemies in the area of effect. With 3 skeletons. Damage reduction. Let's get this summons out. Okay, that gets that'll buy us some time. That kind of messes up their positioning of things. This guy dead already? Guy really needs to be dead. Like, seriously, why is this guy not dead? This is not good. Finally, jeez. Okay, I think I can trigger this now. Alright, prepare to get wrecked. There we go. Problem solved. Gurren's got his ass kicked, but that's alright. Retrieve the breastplate from the corpse. It's damned unfortunate, but... Bunch of money. There's the breastplate in question. And then we just need a whole mess of stuff. Alright, so... Let's see. Tried to kill me to protect a secret. He failed miserably, and now I can now recover the breastplate and take it back to Osric. Dealt with, and the breastplate is now in my possession. Osric will want to know the outcome. Okay, so... I didn't really want to kill the guy, so we might have some problems from that. Although, if we show the proof, we still have the affidavit, so if we show the proof that, if we show the proof that he was lying and stuff, they'll probably not take kindly to it. Ark of the Gaff. Your name. I gotta read your souls, because I gotta see what, see a rocky clearing overgrown with weeds. A crumbling wall cuts through one side, and the trees reach toward each other overhead, blocking much of the light that would otherwise illuminate the body lying near the wall. Belongs to an elf, face down in the dirt. His clothes are torn and ragged, large bruises cover him, and there are cuts, abrasions, lacerations everywhere. Skin is exposed to the air. He twitches, a muffled cry escaping his lips, blowing dust around his head. He begins to moan, his hands scrabbling against the ground, fending off something you're unable to see. His breath comes faster and faster until he's almost hyperventilating. With one final sound, a swallowed scream, his eyes fly open. In an instant, he's on his feet, crouching, eyes wildly looking around. His breathing doesn't slow, and every exhalation is a groan. With one last look over his shoulder, the elf runs into the embrace of the crumbling wall's shadow, all but disappearing into the gloom. Looking down at his present condition, he murmurs, I don't see how anyone who so clearly screws his own livestock could be so sensitive about it. What? Okay. That's whatever. The name made me check him because it sounded amusing, but now I'm confused. Alright, folks. This is actually going to have to be the end of the episode. Thank you for watching. This has been Pillars of Eternity, and I've been Falcon, your host. I will see you folks next time. Take it easy. Have a good day. We're going to finish up in this area. And then we will be going on to finish up exploring the city. And afterward, we will see where we end up going from there. But we will do all of that next time and in the following couple episodes. So I will see you then. Bye-bye.